Okay, I'm back. Somebody complained to somebody about, I don't know. Somebody complained about copyright infringement. So I got booted off of my live stream. So we're going to see if this works. But come back on, everybody. I'm back. Hello, there's two of you. Yeah, so I got booted off. YouTube kicked me off for copyright infringement. Um, I don't know what I'm infringing on. My dogs, they're not copyrighted. Um, Hi, there's four of you. Shout out, who's here? Are you current or former students? Because I made a huge mistake. I made a mistake yesterday by posting about how I was nervous that I was doing this live chat on YouTube. I posted that on Facebook. The thing got like over 200 likes and over 100 comments, and all these former students are like, I'll be there. No, you're just here to harass me. Who's Sunshi Army? Who is that? Oh, I'm up to 7. Hi, call out. Who are you? I want to know who's here so I can pick on you. Not pick on you. Hi, Sam. Hi, Kennedy. The alarm went off apparently. I'm just sitting here. You guys missed the dogs. They have no desire to join me anymore. Tucker, come here. Hi, Lizette's back. A new record, huh? Ryan? Wait, Ryan? You're here? Holy moly. Oh, Shyla. Hi, Shyla. Hi, Bridget. I don't know there was like some, okay. All of a sudden, I get this error message that says I have violated copyright rules and they had to shut me down. What copyright rules did I violate? Okay, Ryan, you must be bored. You must be so bored because you could be looking at your phone right now. Oh, wait, you probably are. This is weird. It's 11:01, I guess. Should I start talking or should I give it a couple of minutes? Um, oh. Um, Ryan, you are looking at your phone. Okay, so let's give it like 3 minutes or something before I really get rolling. Do you have the PowerPoint up to look at? Because that will help you. Um, the PowerPoint that I emailed out to everybody. Hi, Reagan. I know I need to give it a few minutes because people are going to be late. Yeah. Whereas I was sitting here at 10:30 like, "Do I start? Do I start? Do I start? When can I start? When can I start? When can I start?" Ooh, 10 people. Woo! I'm gonna be a famous YouTuber. Hey, Kyle! Oh my gosh, you guys, I miss you. This, like, okay, on one hand, I love not having to go to school, as I'm sure you do. On the other hand, I'm like, I need social interaction. Okay, I need to get out of my email because it's gonna keep blowing up. Sorry. Okay. You miss me more? Doubtful. Hi, Ashley. You guys, ugh, I sit around my house, I read books, I watch TV, like I'm doing literally the same things you're doing. I did all of my adulting stuff while it was still spring break because I thought I was just gonna have spring break. So, like, I did my taxes and I refinanced my house and hi, Sawyer. And I did all these things. Sawyer, Lizeth, be good to each other, be nice. Oh, hey, there's Mr. Elster. Hey, Mr. Elster. Everybody shout out to Mr. Elster. Ooh, we're up to 13. Um, you have a schedule? Oh, I'm guessing that's because your parents are in education. Um, I kind of have a schedule. Like I make myself get up. Because if I didn't make myself get up by like 8 or 8:30, I would sleep till like 11. Sorry, Andrea. Yeah, you would have a schedule, I guess. If I had kids, my kids would have a schedule. Yeah, for sure. Okay. It's 11:03. I'll give him a couple more minutes just for the late ones. Up to 16, Lizeth is never nice to me. Yes, she is. Hi, Logan. Mahalo to you. You guys, this is so exciting. I'm so glad that so many of you are here. And Lizeth. Okay, so if you didn't hear me already, I made the mistake yesterday of posting on Facebook that I was doing this. I posted it. Said I was nervous and I wanted people to wish me good luck that I was doing this live web thing. And I had like over 100 comments on it from former students who were like, "I'm going to be there. What's the channel?" And so I gave them the channel, and supposedly they're going to be here. And oh, hi, Charlie. Thank you. So far they're not here, and hopefully they're just kidding about showing up because I told them they would be bored. They've already been through this before. So I don't know why they would do it again, but whatever. It is what it is. Do you have your PowerPoints open? I'm going to keep asking that because the PowerPoint is going to be helpful. Um, there's only so much I can do. I can show you my PowerPoint, but oh, I just lost it. That's what I did. Unfortunately, I can't screencast when I'm live on YouTube, or at least if I can. Hi, Iris. If I can, um, screencast on live YouTube, nobody has indicated to me how, and I've tried finding it, and I've done research and nothing. So basically, if I want you to look at something, I'm going to show you on my Surface. um, is the lighting all right? Yes, I have lighting. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, okay. I will warn you that the dogs may bark. That's just what they do. Let's get rolling. We got 26 people here. We got a full class here, you guys. Let's do this. So, welcome to An Idiot's Guide to the French Revolution. Not that you're idiots, because you're not idiots, but what I basically did is I took the information about the French Revolution and I broke it down into its most basic components, because you need to understand the basic components of the French Revolution in order to understand what the beginning of the Count of Monte Cristo is all about. Now, you may have already started reading the Count of Monte Cristo or listening to it or something, but I'm guessing that you may have some questions. I will bring the dogs in for a halftime show. Um, I'm guessing you may have some questions, or there are parts that you didn't get, because the first, oh gosh, 38 pages in the actual book itself, if you were reading it from this version of the book, the first 38 pages is all the background stuff and the stuff that's going on when we first meet the main characters, and you need to understand why our main character, why Edmond Dantes ends up in jail. It's not for a crime that he committed, but you need to understand the political climate of what's happening around this time to understand why he ends up in jail. It'll make some more sense when I'm done. So let's talk about the Idiot's Guide to the French Revolution. So I'm on slide 2. Now, our story, literally, first line in the book says the story starts on February 24th, 1815. Now, this is realistic fiction. This book is made up, but it takes place during real historical events like the French Revolution. So, on February 24th, 1815 is when our story starts. So why am I bringing the history back all the way to the 1700s? Because you need to understand what is leading up to the French Revolution. Okay? So here's the deal. You've got 3 groups of people. You just watched an oversimplified video. To screen record, you'll need OBS. Whatever, I don't know what that is. Sorry, I got distracted. I'm going to try to do this without getting too distracted, but I guess we'll see, because I'm new to all this. So you have 3 groups of people in France during this time. You have what are called the First Estate. The first estate is the top 1% of French people. And that first estate would include clergy. Clergy would be the religious people, the priests, the monks, those people. Those people, just as they are now, they are not taxed. They are not taxed and don't have to pay taxes the way that other people have to pay taxes, just like schools don't have to pay taxes. Well, back then, the clergy didn't have to pay taxes. So that's 1% of the population. Not a ton, right? Then you have the second estate. The second estate is all the nobility, people who are born into royalty or are given a title um, that allows them to be considered nobility. But these noble people don't have to pay taxes either. Let's think about that for just a second, okay? It's only 2% of the population, but that 2% of the population is going to have the most wealth in the population, yet they're not taxed. So then you have the third estate. The third estate is everybody else, the people who work. That goes from anywhere from a farmer to a doctor. Basically, if you have to work because you're not independently wealthy, if you need a job, then you are part of the third estate. Third estate includes one of my favorite words of all time, bourgeoisie. I just love saying bourgeoisie. What I don't get is how bourgeoisie or bougie is used in today's society, because if you're bad and bougie, that means you're like fancy, right? And you're like up there. But bougie is not, if bougie comes from bourgeoisie, bourgeoisie was the working class. So that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But anyway, I just like saying bourgeoisie. It's fun. So 97% of the population, they're all the people who are working, and they're the ones that are taxed. They're not the wealthiest, but they're the ones who are taxed. Are you seeing a problem with this? Okay, so third slide. During this time, you have a couple of kings, kings of France. King Louis do you know your Roman numerals? That's King Louis the 14th and King Louis the 15th, and they almost ruined the country financially. Yes, if you're watching and you're looking at the pictures in this PowerPoint, you're probably noticing that King Louis the 14th has on some sweet heels. Men were actually the first people to wear high heels. Little known fact, just a little side note, because men wanted to be above other people physically. They wanted to be physically imposing. So if they wore these heels, they were above. Oh my gosh, people are texting me. Sorry. So if they wore the heels, they were above others height wise. So yeah, they almost ruined the country financially. They are spending money on all sorts of things, including, if you look at slide number 4, the Palace of Versailles. Yeah, that's a house. That's somebody's house. It's a palace, but it's where people lived. I don't get it. People are just placed in their house birth order. Yeah, okay. Are people just placed in their class by birth and can't get out of their economic class? Absolutely. That is exactly the case. So the only way you could get out of your class would be as if you were given a title by somebody who is in the nobility. So, like if I was a queen, which I am, I could bestow upon you a title that would get you out of your class. But chances are that would never happen because we would never socialize. The class system was so intense, like I would only hang out with other nobles or other people of my rank. So it's not like I'm hanging out with doctors and lawyers and becoming friends with them, or worse, farmers and bakers and all these other people. I'm not hanging out with them, so I'm not giving out titles to them. And therefore, they're not raising in their ranks. So, for the most part, that top 2%, okay, the top 1%, the clergy, you had to choose to go into the clergy. Okay, so you had to choose to be a priest, which was not a job for everybody. The top 2% after that, the royalty, the nobility, you were basically born into it or given a spot in that. What slide am I on? I'm on slide number 4. So I'm just looking at pictures of the Palace of Versailles because this is one of the reasons, well, why the country's in financial ruin. It's just one of, but they're spending money that they don't really have. They are not being fiscally responsible. And I'm guilty of this too. Sometimes I spend money on stuff I don't need to spend money on. Generally speaking, it's not palaces, but like I didn't probably need to buy special lighting for my home studio, but I did it anyway. Um, because I needed to look. I mean, otherwise I'd be like this. See why I bought lighting? Yeah. Anyway, so they're buying this or they're making this palace. Now look at the gardens. Look at slides 4 and 5, and you're going to see the gardens surrounding the Palace of Versailles. This place still exists. You can go there and tour there. It is a tourist spot now, but it was literally somebody's home. It was the royal home for quite some time. If you look at slide number 6, I love slide number 6, except of course it's a little pixelated and I didn't realize it was until it was too late and I already sent it out. But slide 6 is called the Hall of Mirrors. That's literally a hallway in this palace. This palace is no joke. Yes, that's gold. It's the Hall of Mirrors. We are talking fancy. It doesn't get much fancier than the Palace of Versailles. Besides the fact it's huge. It's like you think North is big? Ha 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 ha. Well, imagine if North was the size of your home, but the Palace of Versailles is way bigger. And shush Reagan and Max. Anyway, you can see pictures on 6, 7. Look at slide number 8, and you will see that you have got the royal bedchamber. Okay. Now, Mr. Elster would honestly be the loudest one here. Oh my gosh, facts. Okay. Which email is the PowerPoint in? I can't remember off the top of my head. I sent an email out, I believe yesterday. Does somebody remember when I sent the email out with the PowerPoint? It was from me. So if you got emails from Mr. Elster, that's not it. It had to be from me. So search your emails from me, and you got to do. We got to search your emails from me and find it that way. But on slide 8 in this PowerPoint, oh yeah, it's called To My Honors Students. But on slide 8, you'll see the royal bedchamber. And the royal bedchamber is set up so that there's a huge canopy curtain around that bed. Because if you were the royals and if you needed something in the middle of the night, you had servants literally in your room who would go out and get you things. Like if you're the king and the queen, you can't get your own glass of wine or water or whatever else. Probably more likely wine. So they would close the canopy around the bed, but there would still be servants in the room. Additionally, here's a little known fact. Some people, when the queen was getting ready to give birth, you didn't go to hospitals, you gave birth in your bedchambers. The coolest of the cool people would be invited in to watch the birth of that child, not the actual like birth, but they would be in the room, they'd be present in the room when the child was born, because that child would eventually end up being the next king or queen. And so it was considered a great honor for you to be invited in to witness the birth of a child. So yes, there are railings to kind of keep people back a little bit. All right, I got to check out my comments for a second. LPS email. Where people get ideas of Jaden's in their room. Is there a barrier? Is that barrier during this time? Yes, that's what the barrier was for. This is the highlight of your gratification. Starts in the bed, religious service. Is it like a duck? Okay, I'm back. Great, Charlie's back. So I can continue. Charlie's back. Whoo! I was waiting, really. I was stalling just so Charlie could come back. All right, anyway, so fancy bedchamber. I mean, that's a lot of gold, folks. That's a lot of gold. Let's go on to slide number 9. 1774. Again, this is still years before our book starts. Our book doesn't start until 1815, right? So this is still, you know, what is that, I don't know, 40 years before the book starts. But in 1774, these are people that you might actually start recognizing names of. King Louis the 16th becomes king. Okay. He was maybe 21. He was young when he became king. But he had a wife named Marie Antoinette. Marie Antoinette is known historically for a lot of different things, but mostly she's known for having her big hair. She had like the Marge Simpson hair. If you see paintings of her, like the picture I have on slide 9 doesn't do it justice. The hair that she has in different things, like if you Googled Marie Antoinette, you'll see pictures of her where she has actual like boats, toy boats in her hair, and it's crazy. But she was the queen of the time. Here's the thing: King Louis the 16th and Marie Antoinette are supposed to be working towards economic reform, meaning they're supposed to be making the country stronger financially. It's not happening. They're spending money even more so than their predecessors had. Mr. Elster brought up the no bread, give them cake. Okay, so there's this story that goes back to Marie Antoinette. Um, Marie Antoinette was quoted supposedly, and there's a lot of different people that say it actually wasn't true, but one of the quotes that she supposedly said, when she found out the people of her country, the people of France, were starving because they had some famine issues going on from, uh, I want to say it was a drought, but either way, it affected the harvest of wheat, which was their main crop. So wheat becomes flour, flour becomes bread, it also becomes cake, things like that. So supposedly, Marie Antoinette once upon a time said, when she was told that all the people in France were dying from not having enough bread, because that was like their main source of food, she's like, if they don't have bread, let them eat cake. Like she's so out of touch with the common people that she doesn't even realize what she's saying and how that can that and how ignorant she sounds to the plight of her people. Supposedly she didn't say that. I don't know, wasn't there. I'm old, but I'm not that old. All I do know is that they are spending money like it's going out of style. Go to slide 10. 1780s. And there are so many like comments and stuff going on that I'm kind of ignoring the side comments. Yeah, I'm ignoring the side comments. Mr. Elster, if you want to handle some of these questions, if you can. Otherwise, I'm not really seeing any questions. Boat hair. I'll do my best to get to the questions if I see them pop up, but otherwise, you all are just having a little time communicating with each other. I can tell the social distancing is getting a little hard on you. So I'm on slide 10. So in the 1780s, the country experiences poor harvest, the bread shortages. Where do the bread shortages come from? That's because of the poor harvesting of the wheat. Um, well, their country is struggling because they don't have the wheat to export to other countries. They've also lent a lot of money to other countries like the United States. They lent money to us to help us with our American Revolution. So their France is broke, and what do you do when your country is broken and they need money? You either borrow it, which nobody was lending them, or you raise the taxes of the people inside your country. Um, that's what they did. They raised the taxes, but that goes back to the fact that only 97% of the population was being taxed, not the top 3%. Okay. Um, what's social? Okay. Anyway, so 1789. We have what's called an Estates General. The Estates General meet. An Estates General was when you had representatives from all three estates, the 1%, the 2%, and the 97 percenters, representatives all came together to try to figure out what to do about reforming the economic state of the country. Here's the problem: the top percent 1%, the clergy, sent about 300 representatives. The second estate, the nobility, sent about 300 representatives. And then the third estate, the 97% of the population, sent about 600 representatives. So you have 600 people representing the millions out there who are being taxed, and you have 600 people out there representing the top 3% that are not being taxed. They were not making any headway whatsoever, because they did not have equal representation for the amount of population that they represented. So the third estate gets mad. They change their name to the National Assembly and they say, that's it. We're not going to meet until we're represented correctly, not just equally. Okay. They don't want to be equal when they represent 97% of the population. If they have 97% of the population, they should have 97% of the vote. That was what they were fighting for. Go to slide 11. July 14th, 1789, Bastille Day. The revolutionaries, that 97%, the people who are upset about the way the country is being run, start creating chaos and demanding rights, and they start killing people, specifically nobility. They're not killing clergy because that's like killing a representative of God. So you don't do that. That's a big sin. But they're killing nobility, that 2% of people who have the most money, who aren't paying taxes and making all these rules. Time out so I can. Where are we supposed to get this book? Amazon, also the online version link to the email. Check your email today. I'm listening to the YouTube version. Okay. Yeah, Heads on Pikes. Exactly. Side note, so a little timeout here. I would suggest going to Amazon and buying this book. This is like $4.50 on Amazon. If you don't have an Amazon account and you have like a Venmo or something and you want to Venmo me $5, I will. We can make arrangements so that I will get a copy of this sent to you. But otherwise, you're reading it online. I personally hate reading books online. I also don't care for audiobooks. However, there is an audio version that you can listen to. There is a PDF online that is the unabridged version, so it's longer. But I have not been able to find this version online free for you guys to read. Okay, so sorry. Can I go to the bathroom? You keep asking. Fine, go to the bathroom. I don't care. I know you're just being a butt. Charlie, you can hold it. True that. Anyway, so let's go back to the slideshow. I'm still on slide 11. On August 10th, 1792, the king is arrested by all these revolutionaries who are trying to get the country to change. They're like, yo, king, you're doing an awful job. You're getting arrested. And basically, you're being tried for crimes against the country. Go to slide 12. This is really important. So time out on all of your side commenting, because this is going to be extremely important as you are reading the book. In 1792, a national convention is created, and you've got a couple different groups of people. The reason why I bring this up is because you need to know in the book, they're going to have certain words that they used that tell you what side of this conflict people are on. Okay. If you're a royalist, you can probably guess what that means. That means you are in favor of the king and queen and the monarchy and the way things have always been. Okay. However, if you are considered a Jacobin, or I don't even know how to say that pronounce that correctly, Jacobin, whatever, you are going to be loyal to Napoleon or loyal to the revolutionaries. So there's a couple key terms. Over here, royalists. So these are the people who are going for the crown. Okay. People who are going for the crown. You like that? These people are either going to be referred to as royalists or girondists, another one of my favorite words. Girondists. These people are going to be referred to in that way in the book. You have got to know who's royal or who's on the royalist side and who's for the people. Now, when I say for the people, that means that 97% group. So if you're for the people, then you are going to be referred to as either a Bonapartist or a Giron or a Jacobin. Okay, so you need to know which is which. The other thing you need to know as we talk about Napoleon, well, I'll get to Napoleon. Never mind. Hold on. Napoleon's coming up. You probably have heard of Napoleon. January 21st, 1793. By the way, I'm still on slide 12. January 21st, 1793, King Louis XVI is guillotined. What is a guillotine, you ask? Look on slide 13. I'll give you a minute. Do not make a guillotine at home. So a guillotine is that thing, and you see them in like in horror movies and old movies and stuff, where the blade comes down and the person's laying out flat and they get their head chopped off. Well, the king, King Louis XVI, is guillotined. He's killed. And we have all sorts of upheaval right now in France during that time because of all this, because who's leading, right? Go to slide 14. From September of 1793 to July of 1794, we have what's known as the Reign of Terror. The Reign of Terror is when those 97 percenters, those people, are going after the nobility hardcore. And there are mass killings, not even necessarily because people deserved it, but because they were just a part of the nobility. And so people who were in the nobility, the royalty, or who were royalists are getting killed. Or, and this is huge, if people think you're a royalist, you're getting killed. Rumors were everywhere. Okay? So if people assumed you were a royalist, you were getting killed. Now, pay attention to that. We have what becomes the Napoleonic era from 1799 to 1814. You've heard of Napoleon, this military general. He represented the people, and he becomes basically emperor, which is another word for king in some ways. We're not going to get into the whole thing that it's a problem that we go from a monarchy to another monarchy in a way. But just know that Napoleon is supposed to represent the people. So Napoleon is the emperor at this time. Please note the word emperor is going to come up in the book a lot. Whenever they say emperor, they're referring to Napoleon. The other word that comes up a lot that actually refers to Napoleon is when a royalist says, instead of calling Napoleon the emperor because they don't believe he was ever truly supposed to be king, they call him the usurper because Napoleon supposedly took, without right, he usurped the crown from the royal family. Okay, so in the book, if they use the term usurper, that means they're a royalist and they're against Napoleon. If they use the word emperor, that means they are for Napoleon. Okay, so I will tell you in the first chapter of this book, Edmond Dantes is on a boat and the boat comes into port and he's talking to his boss and he says that he saw Napoleon. And his boss, Monsieur Morel, says, "How is the emperor?" Boom, right there. Because he said, "How is the emperor?" you know that he is for Napoleon. Otherwise, later on in like the second or third chapter, there are the Saint Mirans, and they refer to Napoleon as the usurper, and you know that they are royalists. You got to know which side people are on. Okay. Um, they did send him to an island. Person who takes. Thank you, Mr. Elster. Okay. So in 1814, I'm on slide 15. 1814, a European alliance of other countries, not France, but a European alliance comes in and they boot Napoleon out of power to an island called Elba off the coast of Italy. Why'd they move him to an island? Who knows? They could have killed him, but then if they'd killed him, they would have made him a martyr. And yeah, so maybe they just decided not to kill him, but they kicked him out. Now, who's this European alliance? We're talking other countries like Austria, which, by the way, Marie Antoinette, remember Marie Antoinette? She was royalty from Austria. So, of course, the Austrian government is trying to come back in, get Napoleon out of there, put the royals back on the throne, because who are the royals? That would be Marie Antoinette and her people. Okay, specifically, it would put her son that she had with King Louis XVI back on the throne. But if you look at the bullet point on slide 15, King Louis XVIII becomes king. It would have been King Louis XVII, but if you look, that was King Louis XVII, or Louis XVII would have become king because he was the child of Marie Antoinette and King Louis XVI, but he was killed. He was killed in the hopes that they would remove the royal family from the possibility of getting power. So if we're going King Louis XIV, XV, XVI, XVII, we skip 17 because he gets killed. Where does King Louis XVIII come from? Okay. King Louis XVIII would be some other family member of the royal family. But during the Reign of Terror, Marie Antoinette and all the kids that she had had with King Louis XVI are killed. So Louis XVII, as well as the two daughters, were all killed. Let's go to slide 16 for a second. This is important. This is important. Are you with me? There's 31 of you here. I want all 31 of you to stop typing. All right, here we go. In bold. What did I say? Charlie? Don't make me text your mom or email your mom. I'll wait. Ashley, I'll just get on Facebook and talk to your mom. Iris, stop it. Fine, whatever. Here we go. So, in 1814, they take the leader of France, Napoleon, and they kick him out to an island. Now, I show this hand because he's supposed to be a leader of the people. He's not a member of the royal family. They kick him out. The European alliance kicks him out of power, puts him on an island, and they put the royal family back on the throne. Notice, this happens less than a year before our book starts. Please look at the bold print. February 24th, 1815. This is when our fictional story of the Count of Monte Cristo starts. It says the Pharaon docks in Marseille and the Count of Monte Cristo begins. It's extremely important that you understand this because look at the date right below that. March 1st, 1815. What is that? A week later? A week later, Napoleon escapes from his imprisonment on Elba, comes back to France, and takes over power from the royals. Okay, he usurps the throne again. Unfortunately, and if you go to slide 17, Napoleon is only in power for 100 days before the European alliance comes back in, kicks him out again, only sends him much, much further away this time. So here's why this is also important. Ready? Breaking it down for you. Not even a week, 5 days. Okay, great. Thank you. Got it. Here's why this is also important. If you were thought of being royalists while Napoleon was in power, you could have been killed by revolutionaries. If you were thought of being a Bonapartist while the royals were in power, then you could be killed for treason. If there were rumors of you being on the wrong side at the wrong time, you could be killed. Or, in the case of Edmond Dantes, sent to prison. He is accused of helping Napoleon Bonaparte come back to power. This kid's 19. He's got no idea what's going on. He actually has nothing to do with Napoleon coming back to power, but there's enough quote unquote evidence, fake evidence, against him that causes him to go to jail. You need to know as you are reading if somebody is a royalist or a Bonapartist, especially in the first 80 pages of the book, because that is going to tell you whether or not they're successful. If they are a Bonapartist while Napoleon's in power, great. But if they're a Bonapartist when the royalists are in power, that's bad. That's real bad. You guys are so annoying. I'm really glad I took the time to do this. You could stop anytime. Okay. I'll get to the dogs, but first let me finish this. I got another 60 seconds or so. Edmond Dantes. He trusts everyone, and that is one of his downfalls. It's a good thing to trust people, right? Well, there's a limit. If you're too trusting, then you can sometimes be taken advantage of. He gets taken advantage of. Thank you, Theo. Remember, I can talk to moms and dads and all sorts of things. I have what's called a phone, and I will call them from my home phone. I don't even care. Give them my number. It's fine. I got nothing else to do. All right. That's my slideshow. I'm done. Um, this was the most basic I could make it for you. You need to understand that we have an emotional upheaval going on. We have a political upheaval going on. If you are all like, yeah, Napoleon at the wrong time, you get shanked. You get guillotined, you get dead. Same goes the opposite way. If you're like, yeah, King Louis, the whatever number, then you can get dead too. Okay. Especially if you think about it, when Napoleon comes back to power for only 100 days. Imagine those people who think Napoleon's back in power for good and they're like, heck yeah, Napoleon rules. Oh, wait, 3 months later, Napoleon doesn't rule. And I was really out there about my love for Napoleon, and now that's coming back to haunt me. Please understand, it makes a huge difference. Okay. We'll get the dogs. We'll get the dogs. Dogs. Hi. Okay. Oh, you just tore my sweater. You just tore my sweater. Ugh. Okay, what y'all came here for? I would get Tootsie, but she's so dark you can't even see her. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you sad that you're not up here? Come here. Ah, come here. Ah, come on. All right, whatever. She's too skittish. There's Tucker with his ow. Do you even know that you're on camera? How are you freaking out? Here, say hi, Tucker. Hello. See, I got my hair cut and I smell good. Dogs. Oh my gosh, you guys. Say hello. He's so skinny. Can you look up at the camera? Look up at the camera. Okay. Anyway, I'm done with this lesson. I remember now why I hate teaching. I'm just kidding. But I don't know. Tucker is a naughty dog. I don't know. They're all. I got a hole in my sweater now. Yeah, so this was interesting. I don't know that I'm going to do live Monte Cristo Mondays anymore. I might give that over to Mr. Elster. I might still do some videos, but um, I don't know that I'm up for this and all of this nonsense. Um, anyway, it's been nice seeing all of you, so to speak. And do you want another regular video? Because I think it's Garrett's turn to edit. You do the live. Let's do video chat. I thought about that. I thought about doing a Zoom, but you guys are obnoxious. So I don't know how that would work. Here's the thing. The email that you got from Mr. Elster. Let's talk about this. Sorry, I got off topic. So the email that you guys got from Mr. Elster has a tentative schedule. Oh, not a tentative. It has a schedule of how you should potentially read the book in what amount of time so that by each Monday you're ready for discussion. Okay. So I don't know off the top of my head what the first, Mr. Elster, maybe you can help me. What is the first assignment? I want to say it's up to page 80 or 81 in this book, which is basically until Edmund breaks out of jail. But I could be wrong on that. So, yeah, 1 to 80. 1 to 80. So basically, it's up to the point where Edmund breaks out of jail. So what you have is all the background. You have him getting arrested. You have him going to jail. What happens to him while he's in jail, because a lot of stuff happens. And then he breaks out. So by next Monday, you need to be through the background. I will tell you straight up, and any of my students who've read the book will probably agree with me on this. The first 80 pages of the book are the hardest to get through because there's so much going on and you don't really understand it all, and it's a little boring. So it's not until he gets out of jail that things really pick up. So this will be the hardest week of reading, not gonna lie, at least in my opinion. Make Miss Connors go viral. It's true, you should make me viral. I mean, I have like 59 subscribers now. Woo! Mr. Elster and I will be available via email pretty much during school hours. So if you have questions or things that come up, you are more than welcome to email us and encouraged to email us. If you get really confused and want to actually do a video conferencing where we can actually have a one-on-one or whatever number discussion, we can arrange to do that. So by all means, we are still here to help you. We're not just going to do Monte Cristo Mondays. The other thing is we've got Short Story Fridays. You do not have to participate in Short Story Fridays. But if you are interested and bored, we've put out some short stories. We'll put out a short story calendar with links on there for you, and it doesn't have to be if you're bored. You could be because you just want to educate yourself and because you want to read and you like reading and the whatever. But the short story Fridays and the short stories are not required for my honors students. They are required for my non-honors classes, but not for my honors students. You can participate, however, in Short Story Fridays at 11 o'clock on Fridays as well. So if you want to participate, you need to have the two that were sent out to you read by Friday at 11 a.m. So, um, we can do live discussions on the supplemental short stories if there's enough interest as well. So, anyway, post my YouTube channel and Instagram with a Corona tag to show that teachers are trying. Oh, I am trying. I did try. Um, do you have any legitimate questions for me right now? Only type if you've got a question. MF Wana is Max. I got up early for this and enjoyed it. Thank you. I appreciate it. I tried to make it fun. I mean, it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice seeing you guys like interact together. Really, Charlie? Thanks. I'm a little excited that my other students, my former students, did not invade this. You want a video chat. How am I supposed to video chat and actually have it go well when I can't do a live thing and have you guys chill? Like, like, should you be ready with questions for next week? Absolutely, you should. There will be questions that we'll be asking you on this chat as well. Are we following an A day, B day schedule? No, we're not. So basically, how this is going is everybody now is basically given a weekly schedule. So the weekly schedule came out where you need to have the first 80 pages read by next Monday. Whether you're an A day or B day, it doesn't matter. You have 1 week to get the first 80 pages read. That, by the way, is way more time than what you would normally have if we were reading the book during school. Because if we were reading the book during school, the first reading assignment is page like 1 to 39, I want to say. And the second day reading assignment is 40 to 80. So that is only 2 class periods worth of reading, but you're getting a whole week to do it. So you don't have A day and B day schedules. You are literally just group FaceTime. Oh, I'm not giving you my number. No. Mm-mm. No. Is this book confusing? It can be. It's not going to be the easiest book you'll ever read, but it's not confusing like Romeo and Juliet or even the Odyssey. You can pick it up and read it. The problem is there's just a lot of stuff going on in the story, a lot of stories themselves. Like, think of it like an 1800 soap opera where you've got all of these people having their own side plots, and then sometimes the side plots interject and intercede with each other. Um, it's just kind of all over the place. Max, it was about 30 pages a night. More than 30 pages a night. 35 to 40 pages a night is what it was. Sam, why do you keep still saying A and B day schedules? I'm confused. What do I say that? Okay, quit talking about Android. You guys are just looking for a place to talk to each other. This is just sad. What if I don't know what a word means? What if you don't know what a word means? What should you do? Well, you can look it up using a dictionary or look it up online. Or if you truly can't find out what it means, you can ask Mr. Elster or myself. Is a love story is bad? Oh gosh, no. It starts off as if it's a love story. Trust me, it's not really a love story. It's a revenge story. That's what this book is. It's a revenge story. Elster, a thing called Google. Yes, Google will help. Smart butt. This crazy story keeps me hooked. It is crazy. Can I watch the movie? Oh my gosh. Elster, best question ever. Okay. Can you watch the movie and know what's going on? I've seen the movie. I love the movie. I own the movie. Okay. The movie doesn't do the book justice. It is its own entity where it's awesome to watch and it's entertaining, but it's completely different. First off, the movie only has about 10 characters in it. The book has 40 characters that you need to know in it. What they do is they take just the love story from the book and focus just on that love story. That's what the movie does. There's a little bit of revenge, but it's mostly the love story. So, if you didn't like Romeo and Juliet, the movie is not going to be your thing. Here's the deal. Watch the movie at some point if you want, but don't expect it to be the same because that's how Miss Porter hooked me. I didn't want to read this book because it looked so boring for so long. Like that, the cover is terrible. I didn't want to read it. So she hooked me by showing me the movie, and I was like, this movie is great. I totally want to teach this book. Then I read the book, and I'm like, wait a minute. What happened here? They changed the ending completely. I'm not talking about like a little bit. I mean, they do a Jerry Springer ending in the movie, and it's not the same as the ending of the book. How many pages should be done for the actual? Okay. So, Sam, if you are reading this book, then you are reading the first 80 pages. There is a chapter break on page 80. If you have the actual book, or if you are listening to it using that YouTube channel that I linked to in my first email. So, if you are doing that, then it's going to be 80 pages. If you are reading the PDF, it's not going to be 80 pages because it's a PDF and it's set up differently. So you're going to read chapters. But if you have the actual book, this version of the book, it's 80. Now, I have another student, Cameron, for instance. Cameron has a book that says Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas, and it's translated by Lowell Bear. She has the right translation, but it's not this cover. And so her page numbers don't align with it either. Okay. So if you have a different book, then it's going to be different pages for you to read. How many pages do we read a day again? Michaela, it's kind of up to you. Take a look at the calendar that was sent out to you on email. I'm buffering for the last 5 minutes. If you want to read more than 80 pages, can you read more than 80 pages? Absolutely. Read as much as you want. I'm just telling you that you have to be to page 80 no, in order to participate in the conversation by next Monday. Otherwise, it's not going to make sense to you. You can read as much as you want, but only discuss what's assigned each week. Yeah, because we don't want spoilers. So if somebody reads up to page 150 and they know what happens in the second 70 pages, not just the first 80 pages, then they're going to potentially spoil it. So you're going to have to be very careful not to do that. I'm so sad. I said, hi, Cameron. I'm sorry. That's funny. I love you, Cameron. This will be posted. You can watch. So you can replay it. Did we really talk for an hour? This is the yeah. I'm about lovely features in here. I'm done. You got 3 minutes. Once my clock hits noon, not noon. Yeah, once my clock hits noon, I'm shutting this down. So you've got 2 minutes now. Get whatever it is you need to say out there. Yes, Monte Cristo and French history is fun. I love this book. I'm super stoked about it. Seriously, though, if you want the actual book, we can figure out a way for me to send it to you from Amazon if you don't have an Amazon account. It's $5. I'm not buying everybody a copy of it, but I have an Amazon account. I can send it to your address. Email me and we can talk about options. I Iris, knock it off. Sawyer, I love you too. I mean that, I do. Cameron, you're on chapter 17. Oh, I love it. Bye, Amir. I love you. Charlie, knock it off. We're not talking about simps. Kennedy, you'll see me soon enough. I promise. We'll do another video. Seriously. Knock it off. Oh my gosh, one more minute. The longest minute ever because I'm shutting this down. I'm shutting this down in 40 seconds. Charlie, you're my favorite. Is that what you're saying? Interesting. Peace out, Charlie. Iris, that intro is awesome. Deep part of playing guitar, food, I'll talk for an hour. Oh. Yeah, we are not necessarily going back April 30th, you guys. There's a really good chance we are not going back at all this year. I'm not saying that that's for sure going to happen, but there is a chance that I will not be seeing you this year again. Bridget, I miss you. We get to 100,000 Connors gets a play button. All right, yeah, get me to 100,000 subscriptions. You won't get me to 100 subscriptions. Bye, Sawyer. Okay, it's noon. I'm out. Love ya.